no offense, as we're discussing, can't win with 1 run. So, Jim, take that to Trent Grisham, who tonight was hitless and ended the game, right? 0 for 4 in this game.
0 for 4. He did have a big opportunity in the game, and he grounded into a double play.
Yep.
This is from Kyle Glazer, and he posted this
I saw this
almost an hour ago. So Grisham had an 808 OPS during the 2020 shortened season, right? 60 games. It was he's very good.
Yeah, very good.
Since then, so last year and this year combined, he's batting 223. His on base is 312. His slugging is 378. So that's an OPS of 690.
Does he have it in there, or are you adding it up? Because I don't trust your math.
I just added it up. 300.
What are the two numbers?
312 plus 378. That's 690.
690. Right? Yeah.
Okay, so 690 OPS.
Yep.
He struck out twice, and he grounded into a rally killing double play tonight.
And then he struck out a third time in the ninth.
Yeah. So
he's been bad for the last 2 years.
He's been bad, and he is a young player still. Like, we forget that it's like just because he had a good shortened 2020 season doesn't mean all of a sudden he's like this like he has a track record. He has no track record. None. You can say 2020 is a track record, but it's 60 games. He's played more games that have looked like tonight than 2020. So I don't really know where you go with Trent Grisham because there's nowhere else to go. There's nobody behind him. I mean, if you want to go Nomar Mazara, and I see that in the chat, but like you can't.
He's not a center fielder, so
he's not a center fielder.
People around. Brent Rooker's not a center fielder. He's playing half decent. The El Paso outfield, Jim, as we talked to Tim Haggerty, the voice of the Chihuahuas today on radio, has been really good. But Trace Thompson had an opportunity. He didn't take advantage of it. Nomar Mazara is not a center fielder.
No.
Brent Rooker's not a center fielder. I don't believe. I think he's played maybe a little bit of it. So it's like, but I don't know, Jim. I mean, is it going to be a Zokar all of a sudden getting 60% of the playing time? Like right now, it's probably like 60-40 Grisham. It was 90-10 Grisham, and now it's 60-40. Is it going to be 60-40 the other way in June? I mean, how many months can you put up with hitting 150 or below? I mean, that's pretty crazy.
And I know the other night when I was drunk, I said 26-14 or whatever the record was, 24-14 with Trent Grisham playing the way he's playing. You can deal with it when you win. But there also is a point in time where you go, okay, enough's enough. Like, great, we're winning, and Trent Grisham's not bringing us down. You know, I'm not saying they lost this game tonight because of Trent Grisham.
Sure.
But there's got to come a point where you're right. You can't continue to hit 150. It's just like, what do you like? You're not bringing anything else to the table. So why are we continuing to do this?
There aren't many worse games than 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and grounding into a double play with 2 on, nobody out, trailing 4-1 in the 7th inning. Like, that's pretty that's about as bad as it gets, I would say.
Bad.
And the issue, and you're right, did he lose the game? Of course not. I mean, there's a zillion reasons probably why they could lose a game, and they lost by 3 runs. But in that spot in the 7th inning with 2 on and nobody out, do something productive. And the thing I've said about Trent Grisham with some of these unproductive games is he doesn't even make productive outs. He's not situationally hitting. He's not moving runners even with outs. Trent Grisham with his speed should never be grounding into a double play. I mean, in that spot, you got to really avoid the double play. And he grounds it right back to the mound, and it starts whatever it was, a 1-6-3 or 1-4-3 double play. So that took a lot of momentum away from the Padres. I think if you get a runner or 2 in the 7th inning, Jim, you can win the game. If it's 4-2 or 4-3, you're putting some pressure on the Brewers. But I'm with you on Grisham. I'm concerned with Grisham. I really am. And if they weren't 28-15, I'd be really concerned. I know it can be overcome because they're 28-15. But Grisham is a huge, huge black hole. And for the chat, I mean, has Zokar earned more playing time than Trent Grisham? Would you rather see Jose Zokar getting 4 out of every 7 starts or Trent Grisham? Zokar or Grisham for the chat?
Yeah, I think Zokar has earned more playing time right now. Grisham's not guaranteed anything, by the way. I mean, like, he's not under this big contract. He's not. Yes, he was traded from the Brewers, and again, that trade is not looking good right now. Another one of AJ Preller's trades that doesn't look good. Shocker. But he's not guaranteed anything, you know? So if you want to, or you try to trade Trent Grisham, or you send him down, or whatever it is, that's on Grisham because he's not performing. So, you know, there's nothing given here to Trent Grisham at all. So whatever move they want to make, Is it if it's giving Azokar the full playing time, or is it sending him down and bringing up Mazzara or whatever it is? There should be no like, oh my God, Trent Grisham. No, he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't like. There's nothing that he's owed at all.
I wonder if he is going to spend some time at AAA at some point. And I don't know how it would transpire or what the circumstance would be, how long he would be there, what he would even be working on. I'm not a hitting coach, obviously, but it's very rare in the big leagues. And yes, hitting is down across the league, but it's rare for a everyday regular to hit 150 for multiple months. It's one thing to have a bad 3 weeks. It's another thing to have a bad 8 weeks. Right. And at what point you just make a decision and say, he's not helping us. He's actually hurting us. And maybe he can get right somewhere else. Maybe he can build some confidence in a hitter's league like the PCL for 10 days or 7 days, and then get back up here with a renewed focus.
No, I saw this in the chat from, who was it? I apologize. I don't know how to say this name.
But thanks for hanging with us.
Do we even attempt to make the case that the best lineup for this team is Tatis in center field? I will duck.
No, I'm really glad this comment came in. I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't see it come in. I'm happy to have that conversation. I'm also happy to realize that as a realist, with Fernando Tatis Jr. having spoken publicly about his desire to play shortstop, that I think he's going to be their shortstop when he returns. With all that being said, is there a scenario where the team most needs him in center field and he is serviceable in the outfield and he gets some time in the outfield? I think that's plausible or realistic that he sees some time in the outfield. Do I think he'll play most of the second half in the outfield and center field? I don't personally right now. But then again, I don't know. I don't know what Bob Melvin's impact could be on Fernando Tatis Jr. I don't know if Tatis has changed his line of thinking since hurting his wrist this past offseason. So I'd be surprised, Jim. I think he's going to play more short than anything. I think he'll DH as well. Maybe he could get a start in the outfield just because, maybe an emergency or just because. But I'd be surprised if he played 40 or 50 games in center field this year. And I think you would as well.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But it's an interesting thing to bring up.
It is.
Because potentially your best, if Grisham's doing this, which is really bad, potentially your best lineup configuration is Tatis in center and Kim at short and Cronenworth at second and Cano or Voit as your DH.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that just from a on paper. If someone just told me, hey, on paper, what's my best lineup? But remember, Fernando Tatis,
I know.
But what if Tatis doesn't want to do it? Which is basically what he said last year, right? That he doesn't want to be an outfielder. He's the shortstop for the Padres for the next decade. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said.
Coming off that injury, you want to put him in center field?
I don't know. Is center field worse than short for his health?
I don't know. It's just it's out there. It's out there. And with the black hole that is in this lineup, that's Trent Grisham right now, you have a guy that is capable of doing it in center field, and your best lineup maybe with that configuration. Yeah. Now, would I personally do it? I couldn't pull a trigger. I'd have to put Tatis at short. I'd just put Azokar in center field, and then Kim as your DH, or Tatis as your DH and Kim at short, or however you want to go there until if Voit ever hits. And that's another situation too. Is Voigt's not guaranteed anything either. Neither is Robinson Cano. There's really nobody besides Manny right now and Hosmer and who's guaranteed anything on this team.